Yesterday we looked at how we multiply radicals together, and we talked about how in order to multiply or to divide radicals, we need to have the same index. It needs to be the same root. Today we're going to look at dividing radicals and how we do that. But before we get into that, let's take a quick look back to something you did a lot of in geometry. If you had 1 over the square root of 2, remember how in geometry we learned it's not okay to have a square root in the denominator. In order to get rid of it, we multiply by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2 because this is the same thing on top and bottom. We're really just multiplying by 1. But that gives us the 1 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 2 on top. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2. We have the same index here. They're both square roots. Multiply what's underneath, the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So by multiplying by the square root of 2, we get that radical to go away in the bottom. This process is called rationalizing the denominator. Okay, so rationalizing the denominator is that process of multiplying by something to get rid of the denominator that's there. All right, so with that in mind, this is going to come into play a lot more with example 4, but let's move into dividing some radicals here. So example 3a. Let's do the square root of 50x to the 6th over the square root of 2x to the 4th. Now with multiplying, I told you that it's easier if you simplify the individual radicals and then move forward. With dividing radicals, it's actually easier if you start off by thinking of your square root of 50x to the 6th over the square root of 2x to the 4th as one giant square root. So the square root of 50x to the 6th over 2x to the 4th like this, because then we can simplify this fraction that's underneath here. Okay, so 50 over 2 is 25, and x to the 6th over x to the 4th is x squared. So I really end up with the square root of 25x squared after all that. Okay. Now this is really nice because I can square root each part now. The square root of 25 is 5. The square root of x squared is x. And because I had an even root and even powers, even root, even powers, I need the absolute value around that x. So 5 times the absolute value of x would be my answer.